Hello everyone, myself Swati Mishra will be representing you about the Linux fundamentals. Let's take what is Linux. Linux is same as an operating system which you have on your personal desktop as Windows 10, same as we have a CentOS, Fedora. Same Linux is also one of the operating system which is the most secure operating system as compared to Windows. Now, in this module, we'll be discussing the different modules. What will we will be presenting in the Linux fundamentals in this our presentation. First module will be discussing about the Linux OS or AOS. What are the OS? What types of Linux operating system includes? How its behaviors and how it is different from the other operating system. Second module is the basic commands which uses in Linux. Linux, as you can see that it is not the GUI. It does GUI, but it's not much friendly as other like Windows and all. It's a purely command based OS. It's run on the command prompt black screen. So we'll be discussing on the basic commands which uses on the Linux. Being a Linux administrator or Linux learner, you must know the basic commands of the Linux to work on it. Module number 3 will be letting you know about assessing the Linux machines. Like in Windows machine, will let us know we log in using a RDP session if you have read about it. But in here in the Linux machine, module number 3 will be telling about the assessing the Linux machine using our PuTTY software. We'll be discussing detail in about module number 3. Module number 4 will be discussing about the Linux booting process. We have a different booting process. Our systems also boots and we have a different stages of booting. Same way Linux have also different stages of booting process and different versions. Linux have also multiple versions. In detail, if we want, we can go the differentiate between the different stages of booting process, how it goes on in the Linux operating system. Module number 5 will go at Linux file system detail explanation. In Windows, we have C drive, D drive, E drive, and how much if you had a hard disk, you can have a multiple drives. You can create a partition using that. Same way in the Linux, we have a same file system, same as a disk partition to get the OS as being mounted, like root, boot, in which all the booting files are there, where, whom, etc. Details will be there in that session. Module number 6 will be user and group administrator. It is same as a user or group which is authorized to access the Linux machine. Next will be hardware information and troubleshooting. If every OS needs troubleshooting. All OS depends upon some of the hardware, CPU, memory, hard disk, RAM, like we have in a laptop. We have in laptop we can go to properties and check the hardware information. Same we have a Linux machines will have many different commands to see the whatever the hardware, whatever the features of the hardware when get corrupted or get devastated, how can we replace that, or how can we check the condition or status of the hardware device, and what is the troubleshooting steps we can take to perform that action. Module number 8 will be process and storage information. Processes simply you can see that control alt delete. If you press, you have a task manager. Task manager shows the different processes your system is running on. Same way in Linux we have a different processes, whatever the application or whatever the processes in Linux machine it runs on. Storage information, how many disks are attached in your Linux machine, whatever the how much space is occupied, how many space are empty, how much can be used. These all details and information is given. We can give you a real life examples of different of the modules, how to create how to log in the system, how to check, what are the basic commands we can use, how can we create the file system, user and group administrator. We can give you a real life examples on some of the module number 9. Last module will be using shell script. Here in module I will be showing a basic of shell script using automation, but for example shell script is a vast work which cannot be explained in a suppose small slides. So skill scripts is basically used for automation. Suppose in your environment you have hundreds of users and you have hundred of servers. You need to create one users and hundred of servers. And it's not possible to log into every servers and do the user creation. Same way we use a shell script to automate that to run in one server. It can automatically be created in all of the hundred of servers in a few seconds or few minutes, you can see. So it's module, it's use that so shell script. So how can we use that? How can we the basics of the shell script we can create, and how can we just explore more on that? Thank you for listening, and if you have any query, please add in your comment box. Thanks everyone.